In this lesson, we're going to have a look at the Quickrig tool. So in Maya 2016 extension 2 onwards, we've got this new tool called the Quickrig tool, and it allows us to, as the name implies, quickly rig a piece of geometry. So let's try it out. So it's in the rigging menu set and skeleton Quickrig. So if we click on there, we're going to select the character meshes as it asks us to do there, and then press the button and it should work. So let's just select this and click on auto rig and see if it works. Okay, so now we get an error saying unable to perform discrete embedding, and try using a different skeleton embedding method or different mesh. So it sounds a bit like gobbledygook, but it should become more clearer as we explain it a little bit later. Let's just see what the automatic method, how the automatic method works a bit better. So first of all, every time you do this, if you don't want the one that it's created, just click on delete. So it deletes the character that it creates. So we'll click on that little trash can and say OK. So now we're starting again. And they've got two different methods, one click and step by step. So we'll go over this step by step method a bit later, which is a bit longer to use, but it's more flexible. But what we're going to do is click on the little plus here just to create a new character. And then we're just going to change this embed method. If you remember, the error said it was talking about the embedding. If we change this from imperfect mesh to polygon soup, that will basically tell Maya that this mesh is got holes in it and it's not very good mesh, so it's going to try a different method of filling it in and figuring out where the bones are. Okay, so let me just press this and see what happens. So we'll select these guys and click on auto rig and then just wait for that. So what it's doing, it's basically trying to figure out where the bones would be for this character. It's biped, and it's going to then create that skeleton, and it's going to create a control rig for that skeleton, so the actual rig, so you can move it around. And it's also going to attach that geometry to the rig. Okay, so what you're seeing now is the rig. It's created a rig there. The yellow stuff is the rig and these little red controls. So what I can do is, if I've got my move tool here, I can click on a little red circle there and just move it around, and you can see that the character moves, and you can see that it's rigged. Now it does look like it's rigged, but it hasn't done the best job, because there's a few things wrong with this. The first thing is that the joints are in the wrong position. Let's just zoom in here. Okay, so if I were to select this root control here, the one in the middle here, the hips, and just move it down, you can see the way the legs are bending, it's a little bit bow-legged, and that's because it doesn't know which way to bend. Okay, and then let's have a look. Let's just reset the pose here. We'll go over all this stuff later, but this is the human IK controls. If we click on this little button here, it should get us back to the stance pose here. So if you hover over it, you can see it says stance pose. So back to normal. So you can see that the knee, this knee is not where the knee should be. The hips are not where the hips should be. And the shoulders aren't where the shoulders to be. The shoulders aren't where the shoulders should be, and the elbows, etc., etc. Okay, so it's done a good job at trying to set that up automatically, but we do need to give it some help. Okay, so maybe in the future maybe it will come better at doing that, but in this case it hasn't fulfilled its job. So those are the things that you have to be careful of with the Quickrig. It's basically going to put your joints in the wrong position most of the time, in my experience. If it does do a good job, then you're pretty lucky. In my experience, it pretty much doesn't get the exact position, but with a little bit of tweaking, it can do it using the step-by-step method. And the other thing is, it hasn't got fingers. So if you look at the control here, it hasn't got fingers on the control. So it's kind of designed for kind of games or previrs or something like that, so something where you wouldn't animate the hands there. So in this case, we're not going to animate the hands, so we're going to use the Quickrig, but we won't be using fingers in this particular project. Okay, so I'm going to delete this Quickrig, and in the next lesson what we'll do is set this up in the step-by-step method, and that will get us a better result. So what we'll do is just click on this little trash can and say OK, and it should get rid of all your character sets and everything that it's done, and put your character back to the way it was. Okay, if it doesn't, then you can just open up your start file again and start from there.